So traditional femto networks, we're using a femto gateway. And for residential applications, that makes a lot of sense to have femto gateway to manage all these thousands of residential femto cells and residential access points out there. But as you evolve to microcells, using capacity-driven hotspots, like these 4 hotspots per macro that offload half the macro traffic, a lot of times those are just coming in the regular interface that the macro comes in, this S1 interface. So when you look at virtualization, what the basic step 1 is just economics. Being able to have commercial off-the-shelf equipment to run all your applications. And so what we're looking at there is moving the small cell gateway functionality into the core network NFV. And why would you want to do that? So different times of the day, maybe there's a football game, there's not a football game, maybe there's a lot of traffic in a shopping mall during certain hours, maybe there's a district that's a nightclub district where there's a lot of traffic on the weekends at night. So being able to move processing and computing power around for different functions, whether it's processing small cell calls, whether it's processing macro calls, whether it's processing small cell gateway function versus core network function. So these are the things in the core that we're looking at for NFV. When we look at the Cloud RAN, or the virtualized radio network, what we're looking at there is innovative ways to move radio capacity around. So this is really kind of mind-blowing. The first time I saw it was actually a deployment in rural America, that they have an area of their network where they have their base stations in the normal cellular network and a macro cellular deployment. But one area they have a high school and a hospital, and another area they have just basically for roamers going through the interstate. And so what they've been able to do with a virtualized RAN deployment is take the capacity that's covering the interstate that doesn't really have high demand and move that capacity over to the school and the hospital. So they're basically shifting capacity dynamically when and where it's needed most. These are the kind of things you can do with a virtualized RAN radio access network. So,